Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Coffee and Headlines. This is our morning get-together live here on Facebook, or should we start calling it something else? They've just changed names. Anyhow, it's still Facebook for us, of course. And here we are exchanging information about headlines from our city, our state, and our country, information about Puerto Vallarta, things going on here in the city that we can take advantage of so that we can have a more connected life here in Puerto Vallarta as a community of English-speaking locals. And how fun that is. How fun that is that we are here. You know, it's another week, another Friday, and it's getting cooler, it's getting fresher, and I am just so very happy to be here on this October 29th. Halloween is around the corner, and so is Day of the Dead. We've been talking a lot about these things and what's going on and what is not going on. And today we're going to have a little bit more news and updates that are related to the festivities. As always, before we get started, if you are new, we'd love to say hello to new friends. So feel free to let us know that you are new by writing the word new in your comments, and we'll be so very happy to give you a proper welcome. And when I say we, I totally mean we, because today the very enthusiastic Luna is sitting right next to me. Right, baby? Yes? Nah, she's not cooperating much. That's okay. She's busy taking mental notes. Last but not least, of course, if there's something truly important that you wish to bring up or share or would like to get some comment about, it helps a great deal if you add the letter Q at the beginning of your comment. That way I know that you're asking me and not asking one another. With that said, we might as well get started with today's program, and let's see what Luna has prepared for all of us. Okay, well, we start with good news. Yesterday, we announced that everything seemed to indicate that the state of Jalisco was heading back to green in the national COVID-19 stoplight indicator. And now Jalisco Governor Enrique Alfaro has confirmed this during his third annual, not State of the Union, but State of the State, I suppose, address. The official map has not been updated yet. It won't be updated for another week, a week from today. I find it interesting that the governor knows 1 week ahead how things are going, which means that they're looking at trends. And if the trend is that Jalisco is doing better as far as COVID-19 is concerned, then we welcome these good news, and we continue to hope that we will not mess things up by forgetting that we are still in the middle of a pandemic and forgetting that there are sanitary guidelines to be followed. Of course, news like that makes you wonder why the city of Puerto Vallarta authorized a patron saint celebration that took place last night, despite the fact that these types of celebrations, outdoor parties, are not allowed during the current sanitary restrictions. Apparently, back in early October, members of Colonia Buenos Aires applied for a permit to celebrate their patron saint, Saint Jude, in a traditional fiesta, and the celebration was authorized with sales of food, with sales of beer, and a stand featuring live music that continued until well after midnight. Were there face masks to be seen? Apparently not. This is very weird. But of course, we know that the fact that parties are taking place does not mean that we have to go if we don't feel comfortable. We've said this before and we'll continue to say it. I don't know exactly what glitched the local government to authorize a patron saint party, but it happened. But again, when this happens, it boils down to our own autonomy. If we don't feel safe, if we don't feel comfortable, we don't go. And that, I think, that is the best way we can take care of ourselves and our health and our well-being and that of our loved ones. Moving right along, members of Puerto Vallarta Civil Protection Department met to discuss and outline their strategy. Oh boy, their strategy, not strategy, for this weekend and continuing through Day of the Dead, November 2nd. Civil Protection Department, as you know, are the nice people that are out there making sure that we are okay and well protected and well taken care of in public events. We've gone through most of the guidelines already, but it's worth repeating some of them, as much of what is mentioned in this article has to do with the local cemetery. Cemeteries will be open with restricted access, with sanitary filters and mandatory mask use, face mask use, that is. There will be no alcohol allowed at the graveyard, at the cemeteries, no glass containers, no live music of any kind. There is no serenading your loved ones this year with banda or mariachi or any kind of music. And as we commented a couple of days ago, families that go to cemeteries during Day of the Dead are there to be with their loved ones, and disrupting their private life with or their private time and space with photographs or interaction would be as unkind, I suppose, as crashing a funeral or a wedding. So kindly be respectful of people's boundaries if you are intrigued about going to the cemetery and checking out what is going on. Yesterday, we shared some last-minute events that are planned by the city's Department of Culture, and today we learn a few more details, including times in which certain things are going to take place at different locations. At Centro Cultural La Lija, which is where we get our vaccines, there will be a screening of Coco tonight at 7. The following day, there will be a screening of La Llorona, also at 7. We don't know if these are going to be subtitled or not. And there is going to be a costume contest on the 31st. Then there are similar activities at Centro Cultural El Pitillal, which is the new cultural center, and other things that are going to take place at the Quale. There is going to be a pet costume contest at Los Arcos del Malecón, at the Malecón, on November 2nd. That should be fun. And apparently there's a form here if you wish to register your own pet so that your pet will participate. So again, the city is, I suppose, trying to make the best of the current sanitary guidelines and still come up with some kind of activities that people can participate in without disregarding these guidelines. Just in case you're curious about the cultural offerings available from the city, I'm going to leave you with their Facebook page in the show notes so that you can figure out in the future what is going on with them. With that said, let us turn over to the weather so that we can see what we can expect for this weekend. Mutant squash everywhere, says our snarky weatherman. Uh-oh, we are back to 27 degrees. We were at 26 yesterday. I got all excited thinking, here we go to the lower temperatures, but I think the weather's still waffling. Feels like 31 degrees. Humidity right now is at 83%, higher than yesterday. And our temperature in Fahrenheit degrees is 81. Our weather forecast for the weekend starts with possible light rain in the morning today. Well, it's been the morning and I see it's nice and sunny right behind me, so I don't know where it's raining today. High temperature of 30, low temperature of 23. Tomorrow, Saturday, it's going to be humid through the day. Good day to go to the movies, maybe. I went back to see Dune last night, and it got better on the second viewing. High temperature of 31, low temperature 22. That would be for tomorrow. And then Sunday will be another humid day with a high temperature of 31, low temperature of 20. Yay. And now it is time. Let me put my chingaderas in order because now it is time to talk about our neighborhood. Today we get to talk about Conchas Chinas. We had quite a visit in Conchas Chinas on Wednesday because we went walking there. Let me say play slideshow. Boom, boom, boom. And let me put this together and push this other button. Hold on. Bam. Not quite yet, but let me then come here and say that I want to see this. There we go. And I'm blocking the big letters. Let me see, where should I be today? Let me park myself down here just to see what happens. Okay, so Conchas Chinas. We talked a lot about Conchas Chinas on Wednesday. Of course, we dedicated almost 25 minutes to Conchas Chinas. But we are going to talk about other aspects of the neighborhood today. For starters, let's discuss the boundaries. Conchas Chinas has Colonia Amapas north of it, and it has the mountains on this side, so there's very little we can talk about. It continues south until past the Hayat Ziva. So it is quite a large neighborhood. Colonia Conchas Chinas was one of two neighborhoods in which the English-speaking community first settled in Puerto Vallarta, the second one being Gringo Gulch. These are the two primary places where foreigners chose to build their homes. In Conchas Chinas, it must have been a zoo because there were no roads going up the mountains. And I said a couple of days ago, but I was not kidding, a lot of the construction materials made it up the mountains using donkeys when Conchas Chinas first was started to be developed. We know that Conchas Chinas features gorgeous homes up on the hill with spectacular views, and there's also many condominium buildings now. And we also know that Conchas Chinas has a gorgeous, gorgeous beach, or beaches, really. It's a series of coves that are very easy to navigate. And what I mean by navigate is you can easily walk from one to the next, and also you can enjoy the swimming in this beach. This is one of my favorite beaches to go swimming in here in Puerto Vallarta, although it is not a beach like Playa Los Muertos, for example, where you can be catered to. There are very few exceptions on Conchas Chinas where you are actually catered to right on the beach. We also know that Conchas Chinas is, again, it's primarily a residential neighborhood, so you will not find neighborhood stores, with very few exceptions. I think there's one or two OXXOs along the highway, but it's not a neighborhood where if you get a craving for a cupcake or a cookie in the middle of the night, you can just walk somewhere. You cannot. You will most likely need to own a vehicle if you want to live in Conchas Chinas. We also know that there's very few restaurants, and we will mention a couple of exceptions in a second. But you're probably wondering why it is called Conchas Chinas. And this is a very legitimate question. Conchas Chinas, the phrase literally means Chinese shells, but is that what it is? Does it have anything to do with Chinese seashells? Well, we need to dive into the actual word because the word is an interesting word in Spanish because there is China or China, which has to do with that place on the other side of the globe. Um, but that does that have anything to do with Conchas Chinas? Maybe, maybe not. Then check this out. We call this type of a funnel a chino in Spanish. This is a culinary accessory. So this could or could not have something to do with Conchas Chinas. And then there's the skin. When you get goosebumps, we get piel chinita, or we say me pongo chinito. That means that we've gotten the shivers, when we get goosebumps. So the skin can be china as well. And tissue paper in Spanish is papel de China, but that does not necessarily mean that it was made in China. So what's up with that? And then this man is not chino, but his hair is, because the word chino also refers to curly hair. So what does that have to do with Conchas Chinas? Well, clearly it doesn't have anything to do with a man with curly hair wrapped in tissue paper that got the shivers. This comes from curly seashells. These are Conchas Chinas, and presumably this is the type of seashells that must have been rather abundant on the beach in Conchas Chinas at some point. Let us remember that in most beaches in the world, and I'm going to generalize, but beaches that are pristine and unaffected by man are beaches where you can find tons of seashells. But the more we spend time on the beach, the more we take those seashells with us. So it is presumable that at some point in the history of Conchas Chinas, before there were a lot of people walking about and picking up seashells, that there was an abundance of these types of shells. And of course, here comes Tony Sanchez that totally debunks my theory by saying the name comes from the barnacles that resemble a Chinese hat, which is also a possibility. Your theory is as good as mine. I have not seen anything printed about this specifically, but Wikipedia got it wrong, because even Wikipedia says that this has something to do with Chinese shells, which I seriously doubt. We've talked about the boundaries of Conchas Chinas, but I do want to mention a couple of things. A nice thing about the beach is that if you want to walk it all the way from Playa Los Muertos, you can actually walk all along the beach, either on established paths or also just walking along the beach. And it is a beautiful, beautiful hike. You can continue all the way down to Playa Lindo Mar, which is a beautiful property, one of a couple of places where you can enjoy a great meal. Lindo Mar is one of the two. It's an old resort, but a beautiful resort. And it has a great restaurant that you can enjoy. Their Sunday brunch is particularly wonderful. And they have their own little stretch of beach, so you could probably hang out at the beach and be catered to right there. I've never done that myself, but it is quite tempting, for example, to go walking down the beach and, build your appetite. And once you get to Lindo Mar, the restaurant is called La Playaita. You can enjoy a nice, very Mexican meal there. It is very, very popular with Mexican families, and these are probably families that started enjoying this restaurant even before Conchas Chinas became the foreign enclave that we are more used to seeing these days. And of course, Wednesday we discovered the spectacular view from all the way up in the Gran Milamar. And of course, even though we didn't stay to eat, we very much enjoyed knowing that one can go up there and enjoy a cocktail and a meal if one desires to enjoy the view. It was not an inexpensive proposal, but again, when you consider the fact that you are on top of the hill, with this gorgeous view of your surroundings, it definitely makes it worth your while. So this is what we know, and this is what we love about Conchas Chinas. It is not a place where I would personally feel comfortable living, although I have friends that live in Conchas Chinas. But you tell me what you think about Conchas Chinas, what your experiences have been there. We'll get to our comments in just a second, but not before letting you know that the neighborhood that we're going to tackle this coming week is going to be Amapas, which is just north of Conchas Chinas. Amapas is sandwiched between Emiliano Zapata and Conchas Chinas. So it is quite possible that you've catered to businesses and shops and restaurants in Amapas and you didn't know you were in Amapas because, again, the way that whole neighborhood has developed next to Emiliano Zapata makes you feel as though you are in the very same neighborhood. So that was our neighborhood adventure in Conchas Chinas. I'm excited to read whatever you have to share with us. Let me very quickly rewind your comments just to see what everybody is up to this morning. Getting past our usual good mornings. Albert is heading south. 6 weeks starting in January. Good for you. That should be a lot of fun. One of these days, I'm going to put background music for the chit chat section. You guys must be tired of me just going do. Oh, happy National Cat Day 2021 to Luna. Thank you very much, Julie. I didn't even get the memo, but I'll make sure to give her lots of love today, as we do every single day. Let's see what else we have. Another counter. Kathleen is counting months, but patience. And let's see what else we have. Oh, ICAQ. Is it coincidental that Jalisco going back to green is at start of high season? Well, that is kind of it's a conspiracy posture, I suppose. Is it coincidental that Jalisco going back to green is at start of high season? Well, I think the authorities, Ellen, are not stupid in a sense that they've been trying to enforce all the guidelines as best as possible in anticipation of the high season. Is it a coincidence? I don't think so. I truly believe that authorities have been working very hard to convey the importance of following the guidelines. Perhaps not as hard as many people would expect, but hey, we get what we can. What is of concern, at least to me, is how much are we going to honor these guidelines, which are there for a reason, during the upcoming holiday season? And that has yet to be seen. Let's see. I am pretty certain that this comment, which doesn't have a cue, but it is important, came while we were talking about that patron saint party. Each person has to listen to their inner voice, decide for themselves. Thank you very much, Liz. That is such an important way to look at things. Susie asks, any word if there will be any festivities on 12th December at the Cathedral? No word. Let's see what else we have. Kathy just spent 2 weeks in Conchas Chinas. Good for you. Tony Sanchez debunked me. Fair enough. Whether it's a Chinese hat or whether it's curly seashells, I don't know. And Tony, if you have a good source for that assessment that you just shared with us, please let it know. But please share it with us because, again, we are trying to collect as much information about the city as we can. Raymond loves La Playita. I love La Playita too. It is such a great little restaurant. Totally recommended. Great food, great prices. And one of the things I've never done, but I would like to do, is to just stay for a swim after I eat. Or something to that effect. Tony comments, it's a great walk from Los Muertos to Supplya El Set. Thank you very much. Let's see. Albert says, no background music. We love the do-do-do-do-do's. Fine, be that way. No problem with that. Um, Sean Riley says, question. No, it's not a question. It's a comment. Tucson is doing a Dead of the Dead processional. Well, good for Tucson. I don't know what that has to do with Puerto Vallarta, but thank you for sharing. Let's see. Donna clarifies Lindo Mar is a timeshare now and not a resort. You are not allowed to use the blue lounge chairs on the beach, but you can sit on the beach on the other side of the restaurant and get service on the beach. Thank you very much for the heads up, Donna. I sure hope that they haven't canceled the restaurant if it is a timeshare, because the restaurant is such a wonderful attraction. And, if they don't have service or you're not allowed to use the blue lounge chairs on the beach, that's their loss. What can I tell you? Matthew says, my day wouldn't be complete without Paco's do's. Thank you, Matthew. I hope you enjoyed Dune. I've seen it twice and it just keeps getting better. Check it out. I'm staying at Lindoma Resort now, so we know where we're going to party tonight. Thank you very much, Charles, for the invitation. We all fit in your pool, of course. 7 of 9 floors have been completely remodeled. La Playaita restaurant is outstanding. That's good to know. Just let us know what time the party starts and what we can bring, and we will join you gladly. Just kidding. Another day counter. Wendy, almost there. Just joined in. What's going on with the sewer water in the streets? Well, Bill, I don't know if you're thinking about any particular street. What is going on with it? Well, it's still smelly. It's still stinky. It's still caca water, and it's starting to dissipate because it's getting drier. In all seriousness, Sapal, which is our waterworks company, works day and night all year round to ensure that these sewer problems are non-existent. But I don't know specifically if you're thinking about a particular street or a particular situation. But if you're going to be as open in your question, we have no choice but to be just as open in our answers. Sewer water smells like caca. Another clarification. Thank you very much. The restaurant is separate and it is open for service. Again, that is great news. A wonderful recommendation. And we are at the end of the broadcast. We are at the end of the cues. So we've covered everything. Yes. And it's Friday. And tomorrow it'll be our last day this week. We get to enjoy a nice, relaxing weekend. I had a very eventful week, actually. I think I'm going to stay put through the whole weekend because Monday I went out and had a good big meal with a friend. And then Tuesday we went walking. And then Wednesday we did our walk. And then yesterday I went to the movies. So I think I deserve a weekend at home with Luna. And that's what's going to happen. There you go. Tony has debunked me. That's the truth. I'm a diver and worked at El Set in its time when it was owned by Resendiz. That goes back. And that's what I found out from other locals. Was great working there. Lots of money and fun. So there you go. Thank you very much, Tony. It's good to know that it's all about the barnacles, and the barnacles are to be blamed for Conchas Chinas. There's a ton of barnacles out there. Excellent. So there you go. That was it. That's what we have for today. I hope that today will be a great day for you. I hope we mentioned that exhibition at Art Vallarta. I hope you get a chance to see it over the weekend. There's a couple of other things that we've been talking about during the week. And as always, I thank you so much for being a part of this community. It takes two for us to be able to tango, and I don't mean Luna and I. You make this community possible, and it makes me very happy to be a part of this community, and it would not exist if it wasn't for your kindness, your curiosity, and your love of our city. For that, I'm deeply, deeply grateful. Have a great day, and I hope to see you soon.